Hello there, you're watching QTV this morning and good morning. I am your host, Jennifer Song, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahim Abalde.
Jennifer, thank you. It's good to be here on this morning. It's another Wednesday morning, and we are about to take a very smooth ride again.
Very smooth one.
You know, as you know, this morning it's the program that it gives you all that you want to know when it comes to
current affairs.
Yes, absolutely.
Fun.
So we are back again, and I believe, Jennifer, it's going to be very interesting.
So that is blue. You know, yesterday we concluded that I'm colorblind, but that is blue, right?
Well, this is light blue.
But it's blue.
It's blue.
Okay.
It's
so I got it right today.
It's all part of the blue.
It's in the blue family. So I got it right. Because yesterday we actually concluded that I am very colorblind. But at least today I got this right.
The city of Kachadula sent me a message and said Jay is colorblind.
It's like a fact now. So before we go into the program proper, we'll just give you a rundown of the activities that we have for you today. So today we have the motivational quote, we have the newspaper review, and we're joined by James Bahom right here in the studio to help us analyze some of the stories that we have on the newspaper. We have the community watch, where we have Gambia Girls Guide Association, Gambia Girl Guide Association, and we'll be joined by Khadija Jabate, Chief Commissioner at the Gambia Girl Guide Association. On social issues, we'll be dealing with human trafficking, and we'll have Aisha, victim of human trafficking, and she'll be here to share her story. Also, we'll be joined by Skengman Sweezy on the entertainment update. So today, before we take a look at our motivational quote, we will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will head right on to our motivational quote of the day. Do stay tuned.
Step into the future of television with sleek and slim design Samsung Smart TVs, ranging in size from 32 to 75 inches and in different technology. Smart LED, Crystal UHD, Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dot LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV as our TVs offer an unparalleled vision adventure from the comfort of your living room. Ultra viewing angle, powerful picture quality, web browser, gallery, EarthNet LAN, wireless LAN built-in, Bluetooth, screen mirroring technology, mobile on TV mirroring, built-in voice assistance, Wi-Fi direct. Not only that, our TVs are backed with 12 months warranty, and we are currently on a promotion. Contact us on 333-3217.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
One nation, 8 tribes. We are the smiling coast of Africa. Gap-toothed, wide smile, rich melanin skin, radiant with the colors of a rich tapestry of cultures, telling one story of unity and beauty. Wrapped in the soft folds of a mother's sir, a Khalifa's grambuba, we embody the past of our ancestors and the promise of our descendants. Follow the records of our history, this story that tells of a people watered by the river in the gleaming sun of a coastal nation. Listen to the folk tales, those old tales we grew up on. Lebon, Lupain, Amon Nafi, Danaam. Hear the music of an entire nation in the language of its heart and mother tongue. Our tongues are heavy with the song of our people. Rich and thick it rolls off like Domoda, soft like Yasa, Bena Chinla, Nyokomom. Feel the beat of our pounding feet as we dance to the sounds of a throbbing drum, ageless in its rhythm. The griot's kora that speaks the wisdom of the ages. the sweet sound of a mother's lullaby bringing even sweeter sleep. We clap a melody with young and old hands, a symphony full of the pleasures of life, the joys of work and home. We are Gambian. Bi suñu cosaan la, suñu dëkk, suñu bos.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Ibrahima Balde. So now we will head right on to our motivational quote of this morning. So what is it?
Janaba, motivational quotes, they are beautiful. I mean, they keep you active, they make you conquer your day. The motivational quote we have for today is, success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable.
Okay.
You know, when you look at this quote, there's a lot of things that you can
And the quote is
together.
from Coco Chanel.
Coco Chanel.
And us women know what Chanel means. You know, it's a, you know, when it comes to designer perfumes, designer bags, and the list goes on. So Chanel was a French fashion designer and a businesswoman. So if she talks about the fact that failure is inevitable, it means we have to listen, because right now, you know, women use some of these designer bags to feel comfortable.
Yes, considering the fact and considering the success that she's achieved, I mean, the things that she's garnered and achieved in her career, if that person gives you a particular code, you should listen to it and, you know, follow what she said. When you think about this code, you can gather a lot from this, inevitable. Sometimes most people are surrounded by fear. You have fear in your mind, fear in doing certain things. So it is said success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. You understand? So it's like you are always there to win. You always want to be the person to get that thing you were looking for. So it's important, don't put fear in you. Sometimes fear, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth to fear something, Jenaba.
Well, I used to be the kind of a person who used to fear failure a lot, you know, and to be honest, I'm not saying that it is something that I've walked on completely. This is something that I'm still working on. I am so afraid of failing sometimes, but gradually I've walked on it, because I failed a few times and I knew that that wasn't the right time for me to get certain things, and I have to try again. So at the end of the day, the way you are able to win things is the fact that that thing that you've lost, you're going back to it over and over again, despite failing, but you go back to it, and at the end of the day, when you get it, then you become a winner. But if you did not go back, then you are a failure yourself, because you did not go for it.
It is normal for you to feel fear sometimes, but I mean that should not keep you. That should
From
not
taking
drag you
certain
behind.
risks.
You know, it's important for you to take a risk. I mean, when you look at this code, it's connected to almost all the codes that
we talked about previously.
Exactly. So it's important for you to stand up on your own and move on. You know, let fear not drag you behind.
And look at Coco Chanel, the brand currently. You know, as women, today, if somebody brings me a Coco Chanel bag, I mean, I would take a one more leaf and get to relax and be staring at that bag, considering how expensive the bag is. I'm just joking, but anyway, it is something that women value so much, and the cost attached to some of the things that Chanel has to offer is very expensive. And considering the fact that this is a person who actually took a risk to be able to reach where this particular brand is right now, who are we not to take risks, to fail and stand up again, fail, stand up, and do what we have to do. So like I always say, all of the quotes that we talk about here are really connected, and all of these quotes are coming from influential or successful individuals. So us that are working to get there have a chance to learn from them and eventually reach where they've reached.
Absolutely, Jennifer. It's just a matter of being focused and follow your dream. don't give up. You know, if you fail once, fail twice. You know, fail many times. I mean, get up. If you fail even the fifth time, get up six.
When you fail, that doesn't mean that you're actually weak. Sometimes you can just cry it out. You know, cry it out.
Definitely.
Come back strong again. It's normal.
Exactly, Jenaba.
Yeah.
It's important. So what do we have?
So right now we will head right on to the newspaper review. So we are joined by James Bahum to take us through some of the stories that we have here and help us analyze it. But before we get into that, I think you have the Fourier newspaper.
Yes.
So you can just take us through what is happening there.
Let's look at the headlines of the Fourier newspaper. Corruption must not be encouraged, says Tango chairperson. And we have police deny deploying officers to install suspended KMC CEO. Interesting. Gambians fear third waves of COVID-19 may impact negatively on people and economy. Young Gambians should watch out for the social media. Should conflict between religious leaders become a police matter? This is what we have on the Fourier, Jennifer.
Yeah, so moving on, Understanding newspaper, Barrow calls for peaceful political campaign. We also have government signs $15 million support agreement with USA. We also have IGP asked to explain Gorgimboop's return as anti-crime commander. Government moves to tackle education inefficiency. And also we have man arraigned for trafficking people to Europe, and today we have an individual who'll be talking about trafficking, so it is important that this is coming up now. And we also have a man found with gun at gunpoint arraigned as well. That is all we have on the Standard.
Okay, let's take a look at the Voice newspaper. It's a repetition. Police deny deploying PIU personnel to KMC. Gambia, US in joint efforts to accelerate development. National Human Rights Commission briefs media about achievements. CSOs urges KMC local government ministry to resolve problems. Presidential aspirant says government not fighting corruption. This is what we have on the Voice.
The Voice newspaper. So like I said, we are joined by James Bahum. Welcome to the show, and you'll help us analyze some of the stories that we have in the newspapers. So, well, let's take a look at finance a little bit, considering the fact that you're working in the private sector. Sometimes you tend to understand some of these things. So government signs $15 million support agreement with the USA. When it comes to financial aid from the international community, or just even African countries, sometimes you see some individuals frown at it, saying that we can't depend on loans and grants from the international community to develop the country. And on the other hand, some say it is a good idea because it's all part of cooperation and partnership. So where are you standing?
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you, Mr. Balde, for inviting me to what is a very exciting program.
Sure.
I've had the chance to watch 1 or 2 episodes, and I was highly impressed by it.
Thank you.
And it's a privilege for me to be here today. Yes, important information about international aid. It is true that Gambia cannot, and I don't suppose any third world country can depend entirely on foreign aid or grants to develop their country. We have to be able really to enhance our productive base in the country to be able to gain a lot more revenue, to build our economy, to build the necessary infrastructure to generate more revenue, to support government's plans in trying to alleviate poverty and increase life chances for the general populace. It is though still a good deal of money, $15 million. I would, if I were to hazard an opinion, I would say it needs to go to 2 key areas of great significance, which are education and health.
Okay, looking at the report, it says agreement is to create framework agreement that will enhance democracy, peace, stability, and prosperity in the Gambia by strengthening rule of law, governance, economic reform, and liberalization, entrepreneurship, strengthening health, education services.
Well, there we are. These are key areas. Of course, strengthening the democratic framework, issues of rule of law, of course, is a significant basis, a foundation from which then any government can then go ahead and build the institutions that we require. Education and health, for me, is key. Because, you know, the Mandinkas have a word, a saying, you know, boto kenseng bikalo, an empty bag does not stand. And in that case, I mean, if people are not well in themselves, they are not productive. If they are not skilled, they are not productive. And therefore, these two key areas for me are significant enough. And I think it is important that they mention those two areas. But the democratic structures and institutions of state are significant to create the enabling environment that will allow for government then to proceed to invest in these key areas.
Okay, but Ibrahima,
yes.
in the absence of these support loans or grants or agreements or how you might call it, how do you think government on its own will be able to make sure that in all of these areas things are going in the right direction? We've seen CA saying that they want to increase the tax base of the Gambia when they come to power. We've seen Doi talking about bringing cooperatives, you know, and the list goes on. So how do you think, in the absence of all of these things, we can stand alone as a government to make sure all of these areas are taken care of?
I think one key area that has always been underestimated in terms of revenue coming into the country, but this has been proven over and over, is remittances from Gambians living outside the country. Last year alone, 48% of GDP was contributed from came from remittances from the diaspora. That's a significant contribution to GDP. $500 million, for instance. And we are not talking about, you know, merely that remittances that come through regulated corridors.
Some come
and stuff.
through
they go through
irregular means.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And if you put that together, it is nearly $1 billion. And that is a huge amount of money. The secret, though, is how do you convert that into international development funding? Oh, sorry, national development funding. Okay. That is a key area. And government has to put more effort in leveraging that significant amount, you know, to encourage diaspora to send more money, but also to create the opportunity where they are confident that they can invest in our development in a more structured way. So that is key. But I also believe that agriculture used to be one of the key areas, you know, where government makes a lot of foreign, you know, revenue. But we have seen over the years that the productive level of an agricultural production is diminishing as we go along. And we need to also invest heavily in that area because that's where the vast majority of Gambians are employed. We need to skill our workers. We need to invest in the right areas, agriculture, the extractive industry, which is another area where perhaps not much light has been shown in that area. We need to open it up and allow Gambians to get into the extractive industry and work.
Mr. Bahum, agriculture, when you look at it, and most parties before they come into power, the only approach, the main approach that they use is agriculture, health, you know, and these are the sectors that are really struggling in this country. What do you think should be done to make sure this thing is being changed?
I think what government needs to do is to invest a lot more in these sectors. We need to train. We have a massive youth bulge in this country. Most of them unskilled, unemployable because they don't have the skill necessary really to either work on their own as independent, as private businesses, or get into institutions, you know, development institutions that are able to enhance their life chances, but also their own opportunities for the country. I believe that health is also, like I said, is key. Now, when parties challenge for government in elections, we have one coming up very soon. They promise everything. By the end of the 100 days in office, things change. Exactly. They will tell you we are going to increase investment in agriculture. We are going to ensure that education is taken care of with the right amount. But go to schools around the country and see the dilapidated, you know, nature of these schools. Go to the hospital today. Our hospitals are suffering lack of all the basic necessities that they need to provide service to an increasingly vulnerable community of Gambians. And
looking at the aid, don't you think a country that survives, by aid, I mean, don't you think this will corrupt or it will cripple its efficiency?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. We cannot depend on charity, as it were. I'm not saying aid coming in is not a good thing. There are collaborative efforts by the Gambia government and several other international institutions and friendly nations, like $15 million. It can be useful, but I'm saying you cannot depend on that amount of. In the context of our development aspirations, $15 million is not a lot of money, but it needs to be used strategically in places that can also create the base so that it can then be able to generate. I would put it into agriculture as well. Allow, people are bereft of the most basic, agricultural. We are moving away from labor-intensive agriculture to mechanized agriculture. That is the secret. How do we do that, make that transition? We need to train people again to adapt to new technology in agriculture. We need to invest, therefore, in that sector to ensure that they have all the necessary implements and the necessary support that they need to really increase productivity in the agricultural sector, for instance. It needs reskilling and retraining, but with massive investment, really.
Well, Jenna.
Yeah, interesting. I think the issue of government signs 15 million support agreement with the U.S. has made us cover a lot of areas when it comes to the economy already. So right now, let's go to law and order in the country, because the IGP asked to explain Gorgui Mbub's return as anti-crime commander. If you remember, this is a discussion that we've been having here for so long, and we've been waiting for the Human Rights Commission to come out and tell us if this is something that they agree with or they do not agree with it. And just yesterday, the Human Rights Commission convened a press conference, and they talked about the fact that they've written to the IGP for the IGP to actually explain to them why Gorgui Mbub is back, because they headed a particular investigation in relation to Gorgui Mbub's actions, and he was removed. Now he's back. So do you think proper coordination in relation to his return has been done? Because considering the fact that the head of that particular panel is not even aware of the reason why Gorgui Mbub is back. So maybe processes are not put in place to make sure the return is done properly.
That's the story of this transitional government, haphazard policy implementation. Gorgui Mbub has become infamous over the years. Although there is a lot of argument, some in support of him, others not, that his heavy-handed approach to policing achieve results. But I don't think in a democracy we need police forces brutalizing people in order to achieve results. He was removed, suspended for a while, and transferred, I believe, to Farafenni. So to bring him back after, I don't know, in fact, as well, whether the commission that was set up to investigate him have, arrived at a decision.
They arrived at a decision and made recommendations. That is why he was transferred to Farafenni.
Right.
So now the same commission is coming back to ask for explanation in relation to his coming back, because they are not aware why.
Yes, and rightly too. The commission must be made aware if such a decision was going to be taken, given that they had made recommendations which resulted in his redeployment. But to just bring him back, for me, it's it's an example of.
Mr. Bahum, don't you think there is a communication problem? That's the coordination problem. I think most of our departments, Geneva, we have this problem. When you look at the 12 million saga at KMC right now, it's like there is no proper communication between the local government ministry and the KMC. So communications, because the Human Rights Commission mentioned on the newspaper that, I mean, they don't know the circumstances of his return.
Yeah.
So there is a problem. There is a communication problem. And the other thing is, in the Gambia, don't you think we write down the laws, but we don't follow the law?
True. In several cases, instances, that is the case. The lack of communication, as you rightly put it, a lack of coordination between the different agencies and institutions of state, and the total breakdown. I think there is a reluctance, perhaps, from the key institutions, the government, to really open up in a way that will allow people to see how their government is working in their interest. Yeah. And that lack of transparency, the lack of, the disjointed nature of the approaches to issues of national interest itself is a cause for concern. And I believe that the sooner they get that right, the sooner they are able to create a system that will allow for synergies, cooperations, collaborations, and coordination, as it were, the better it would be. But as far as I am aware, there has been several decisions that have been made by government institutions and agencies that are so disjointed that we do not see the essence of these decisions that they make. But then these decisions have a somehow adverse impact on individuals. For instance, who knows? The Human Rights Commission made recommendations. Gorgimbu moved away from his post and redeployed to Farafenye. All of a sudden, he's back. One would have thought that before the government recalls him, they would have had consultation with the commission that made recommendations for his redeployment, perhaps, in order to get their feedback on, whether it was the right decision to make or not. So I believe the lack of communication, the lack of consultation between the agencies of state and government, needs to be really enhanced.
And Mr. Baum, I think the government at some point, the public is talking about the fact that whenever they put together commissions, they end up not failing. They end up failing rather, or when they come up with recommendations, these recommendations are not implemented. So I don't think it's a right way of actually doing things, considering the fact that the Constitutional Review Commission is still here. This commission that is set up is being undermined when it comes to recommendations and decisions that they want the government to take. The Jana Commission, all recommendations were not implemented, and now we're waiting for the TRRC. Is it a good sign?
It's not a good sign. Security sector reform as well, remember.
Elections.
And we have a lot of bills in the National Assembly that are pending right now.
And one key bill, I'll just touch on that quickly before I come back to you, Jennifer, is the Freedom of Information bill. It's lying there gathering dust. It's not being implemented. It has not been passed. It's been there for quite a while. And the sooner you get a Freedom of Information
Actually, when it comes to the information bill, we are waiting for the president to assent to it.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm not sure if the
I don't know at what stage.
So that is the stage we're in. The president has. We're waiting for the president to assent to it, or the president has already assented to it.
That is where.
But that is the development right now.
Yes. And I think the sooner it is passed, the better.
Yes.
Then we have the ability to probe government.
Yeah, it has been passed.
But you are right,
it has been.
That all these commissions that were set up during the transitional period, we are still in transition, I suspect, have not been implemented. Those little, it was cherry picking, as it were, to what I want to do, what the president wants done, and what is in the best interest of perhaps vested interest, as it were. And I think that's a bad way to govern. And if you set up commissions to probe our recent past, for instance, it is important that you listen to the recommendations of this expert that you entrust with the process. We had the Janet Commission come through. We know that the recommendations were made. From what I am aware, they were only cherry picking those areas where they want, that they want to implement. We've seen the CRC, the greatest disappointment for most Gambians who campaigned over many years, for, for a new constitution that would launch a third republic. That constitution for me, that draft constitution for me, was a great progress on what we have currently, the 1997 constitution. And to have just given it the short shrift, as it were, was a major disappointment, considering the amount or the number of the great support that it enjoyed from the Gambian people after vast and extensive consultation with us. So I think, this idea of setting up commissions and not following through with the recommendations of this commission is a bad way to govern.
Yes, I know time is against us, but I still want to ask you this question. Regarding Gorgui Mbub's return, don't you think the police, it is our right for the police to issue a statement or a press conference to at least tell us why they are returning Gorgui Mbub back to?
Yeah, I think that's even the reason why.
Mr. Mbub, the one query I've always had with this government is its lack of transparency, and the fact that its communication strategy needs to be overhauled to make it more robust, as it were. People choose their government to represent their interest. It's the public interest that matters in most of these cases. It is no good we putting a government in place and that government hiding from us. So if you are going to bring Mr. Mbub back, you tell the people why you are doing it. It may be a genuine reason, a good reason for that matter. But the fact that you are doing it hush-hush behind cloak and dagger means perhaps you have something to hide. And I don't think, again, the governance, of these decisions, the way that these decisions are arrived at, people are not aware. So it leads to what? Speculations. And these speculations may be what they are, speculations. It may be true, it may not be true. But the clarity that we need as to government's daily action on what they need to do in the interest of the people must also be available to the people to see and make a judgment as to whether or not those decisions favor the national interest and their public interest. So I think there needs to be a total overhaul of the communications strategy of government, create more transparency, show the light on things that are significant in people's consideration. The public interest must be paramount at all times.
Absolutely.
And failing to do that is a failure of governance for me.
Right.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you so much,
Bahum.
Mr. Bahum. I think you've taken us on a long ride, considering the fact that we've been able to focus on a lot of issues ranging from the economy, agriculture, and a lot of other things. So I think we need to have Mr. Bahum back here.
Again.
Yes, he's taken us on a long ride. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Bahum,
Mr.
for your
Thank you
time.
very much. Thank you very much. And keep up the good work.
Thank you. So we really
brilliant.
appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
And I'm happy about the fact that you talked about the communication bill as well, which has been passed at the National Assembly. And hopefully, when we have it, then it will be implemented.
I hope so.
Yes,
I hope
we
so.
hope
and
so.
Because I think it is significant.
It is.
And
yes.
there is a growing media culture
Exactly.
here. And for them, that is the key
Very
to hold
important.
government accountable.
Sure.
It's about accountability.
Accountability.
Yeah.
So moving on, we will take a look at our Community Watch. And today on Community Watch, we have Girl Guide Association, and we have their representative here, Khadija Jobate, Chief Commissioner, to take us through some of the activities there. But before that, let's take a look at this video on an activity where Sharing Wonders, a UK charitable organization, on Tuesday donated them 30 mattresses among other valuables. Let's take a look at that.
The Gambia Girl Guides Association was founded in 1923. In 1888, a training center was founded to train those with other skills in functional numeracy and literacy. The center now teaches various skills including cookery, batik making, tie and dye, restaurant management, hotel management, and front office management. The materials donated include 30 mattresses, gas cookers, boxes of clothes, kitchen utensils, refrigerator, and pens, among other things. Receiving the items, Khadija Ejobate, Chief Commissioner of the Gambia Girl Guides Association, expressed delight and said the items will go a long way towards helping students to do their work. Adding, the presentation also coincides with an important international conference. Khadija Jobate further outlined some of the constraints the association faces.
In fact, I think that is why these people are here. We have constraints, like before we used to have full-time teachers, but right now, as I'm speaking to you, most of our teachers are on part-time because we cannot pay full-time teachers. We don't have the money to pay full-time teachers, so that's why we have those constraints. And even with that, most of our teachers are universities, they are going to universities. That's why they were able to. The message I want to send is, normally in every country, the chief patroness is always the first lady. But it's unfortunate for the Gambia. I think it was during Sadauda's time, we enjoy the first lady's patronage. Because during Sadauda's time, Lady Chilel was always with us. She gives us sponsors wherever. In fact, sometimes she will come here and then will tease us. Now let's have Daukir. Daukir means we all stay here in the hostel. We are not going home. We'll all laugh over it when you have programs. And then from time to time, she will visit, and some aid will come. But since then, we don't have any benefit from first ladies. In UK,
Welcome back from that video. So in that video that you just watched, Sharing Wonders, a UK registered charitable organization, donated 30 mattresses, among other valuable, to the Gambia Girl Guide. And as you know, the Gambia Girl Guide Association was founded in 1923. And in 1988, a training center was founded to actually train young girls. So we are joined by the Chief Commissioner, Khadijatu Jabate. Thank you so much for coming.
thank you, Jennifer.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this wonderful invitation. I really appreciate it. As you have mentioned, Girl Guides in the Gambia was founded in 1923.
Yep.
And then in those days, it was the governors. In fact, the first governor who inaugurated it was Sir Cecil Armitage.
Okay.
He was the governor. I know he's a British. When you and I were not even born, inaugurated it. And as time goes on, guiding, it was, in fact, still is an educational program. It's only in educational sectors that you have guiding. As I am talking to you, all the chief commissioners who came and go were educationists. I am a principal curriculum developer at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. But because guiding is an educational project, most chief commissioners were educationists.
Okay.
Just recently, the chief commissioner who gave the baton to me was a teacher. Amazing. The person who the baton was given to her was a teacher. And the baton was given to that person who gave that baton to that person who was a teacher and education. And in fact, she's the mother of one of your CEOs here.
Okay, amazing.
Nene Seka.
Okay, great.
It's Nene Seka's mother. In fact, she inspired me. She was a mother. When I was being elected as chief commissioner, I shed tears because it was so emotional that there was a time, if I want to explain it, it's so emotional. Okay. There was when that story building inaugurated, there was an incident that happened. She just looked at me and said, Inshallah, you will one day handle this association. And it came in her absence.
Okay.
So sometimes
it's a bit emotional. We understand that, and we have to congratulate her as well for reaching here.
Yes, Mrs. Jubate. Let's look at the Girls Guide Association of the Gambia. They've been doing very well previous years. When you talk about Girls Guide, the mental picture that you have is training young girls to become responsible elders tomorrow. What is happening now? We are only left with the name.
Wonderful. That's a very, very good question that I will always want to answer. You know, now people don't want to volunteer because guiding is a non-profit making organization.
Sure.
Whoever is coming there, you have to get that notion that you are not gaining anything, but you want to help the future leaders of this country. The training center we have is basically for those who cannot get entry to the university or to the college. We teach them skills so that they can be there will not be liabilities in the society.
Sure.
That was the intention of everybody. And we want their voices to be heard, you understand? But then, and it's one of the, in fact, is the only skill center that is paying that meager amount, because our predecessors said we should not overcharge them. In fact, we were having aid, and from that aid, whoever cannot pay school fees will take from that aid and pay their school fees.
Amazing.
Credit crunch. Not much is coming from our donors outside. In fact, when I write to them, what they tell me is, what is your government doing? Because our line ministry is youth and sports. In those days, they were the ones who support us. Now, when this government came, we benefited from them. When one drama was there, he once gave us our subvention.
Hadram Sidibe.
Yes, Sidibe, okay.
The former Minister for Youth and Sports.
Gave us a subvention. That was 2017, 2018, a subvention was given to us. That is since Sir Dauda's time. The only subvention we had was when Sidibe was there. Okay. That was 2017, 2018. My own ministry, MOPSI, they help us a lot because we have centers in Brikama, we have a center in LLR, Region 4. We don't have a center in Region 5, but we have a group of girls there. Of late, we went to Region 6 so that we can get a center there. The then governor also promised us a land. But then I don't think he is there now. Bojang.
That's Region 5?
Region 6.
6, okay.
Region 6. He promised us a land. We are following it up. Unfortunately, he is no more there. But then we have our contact persons there. Now, all these things, all this we are doing is for girls. But now, as I said, my own ministry, MOPSI, they'll give us transport. They facilitate us to go and visit our sites, and then they'll give us some incentives that will keep us moving. But apart from that, we are not having any aid, and without aid, nothing will work.
Jennifer, okay. I think if governments are serious about helping young people, they should help young people through associations like the Girls Guide. Yeah. You know, we have a lot of them in the Gambia. Seeing an association like Girls Guide fading away, it's something very sad.
Yeah, and recently we've seen the president of the Gambia come out to say he's reaffirming his support when it comes to youth empowerment. I think the Girl Guide Association is one area that they can look into in relation to the empowerment of young people that they're talking about. So in that particular story, you talked about capacity building. And in capacity building, you talked about the fact that you have very few staff to build the capacity of these girls. So how do you manage, you know? And these are the girls that are going to go into society and actually provide services for us. And if they're not well equipped, then what is the essence? So how are you managing with that?
Thank you very much. Before I come to that, I can boast of today. The confidential secretary at Civil Aviation studied at Girl Guides. The confidential secretary at my own directorate studied at Girl Guides. You understand? Yeah. The meager, right now as I'm talking to you, the meager school fees that they pay, that is what we use to pay the staff. That's why we cannot have full-time teachers. Sometimes my staff will tell me, you have turned out to be a beggar. I go and knock to all those that I think they can help me. When I write to World Bureau, the little they have, they will give me that. And projects come like plastic tuna tight project. That is to sensitize the community, the health hazards of plastic. We apply for that. We were fortunate. They assisted us. That is outside. So from that also, that money also, when we do our activities, the rest we make so we paid our staff. Because you cannot employ somebody and you don't pay them.
You don't pay them, yeah.
We don't, if we have donors that can help us with our staff, that would be great. That would be great. And in fact, because of that, as I always say, because of that, we cannot employ full-time teachers.
Yes.
We just go on part-time.
Mrs. Jubate, what should be done for our Girls Guide Association to return to its normal operation? What do you think should be done?
What should be done is we should get recognition from government. As I said the last time, I said in all countries, first ladies are the chief patroness. But then in the Gambia here, since Lady Chilel's time, we didn't benefit, and we are not benefiting from any first lady. The former first lady came, 0. The present one came. We cannot even get access to see her.
But did you try?
4 times.
Okay.
I wrote then, Fadera was there. I wrote, and they said, you have to send it to the Secretary General. I sent the letter to the Secretary General. Nothing happened. I waited for 2 months. I called him personally. He said, Madam, I didn't see it, but please bring it to the State House. Okay. I said, I'm sorry, they will not allow entry. My entry to the State House. Let me give it to your wife. I'm happy this is life. Let me give it to her. I walked to the wife at RVTH. She is in their records office. I gave it to her. She said, I'm sorry she didn't receive it. And then another letter was sent. Somebody said, take it to Foreign Affairs. They are always communicating with Foreign Affairs. Can you imagine what I went through?
Yes.
To reach the first lady?
Yeah.
I went to Foreign Affairs. I left that letter there. Nothing happened.
Okay. But
This God, let me finish my story.
Okay.
This God who is not a sleeping God, the permanent secretary to the first lady came to my office for a meeting. I explained. He said, Madam, bring it to my office. I said, will they allow me to go to State House? She said, yes. I rewrite the letter again. I took 2 copies. She said, take one to their records. I took it. I said, please keep this one. If they said that one is lost, you can give them this. Nothing happened. GRTS had a program because one of our halls was one of the halls in that area. It's a multi-purpose hall. They had a program. Unfortunately, light went off. One of the journalists from State House said, Madam, what happened? I said, thank you, you asked that question. We cannot afford a generator. And then I explained this story. He said, can you send the letter to me by email? I sent the letter to him by email. I called him, said, I'm here in front of the permanent secretary. Let me give one to him and take one to the records. Nothing happened.
Well, Janaba, these
So
things.
what do I do now?
So this
Mrs.
might be
Jubate,
an opportunity for you to actually reach the first lady. So hopefully somebody is watching that might send this information to her. But apart from the first lady, did you try the president? Because at some point, it's the president that actually handles the responsibility.
Yeah, if I
in terms of some of these
if
things.
I cannot get access to the first lady, how will I get access to the president?
Okay.
If I want to force myself, they may say I'm politicized.
Exactly.
And this is a
So
non-political organization.
Yes.
I'm always proud to say it is a non-political organization. So my even World Bureau, I cannot. There is a proverb in my Mandinka that you cannot sit on your own monkey's tail and stretch it out.
Okay.
Yes.
If I have to say all these things to the outside world, how will they see
So
me?
the reason why I'm talking about the president, you know, sometimes first ladies, they're just the wives of these presidents. You know, they do not have sometimes the mandate to actually do some of these things for us. But like you said, you just see that they're first ladies and giving them the respect just to expect support probably through their foundations. But anyway, it's good that you mentioned this.
When Sir Charles McCarthy was the chief scout, the governor, his wife was the chief patroness. In the UK, Queen Elizabeth is the chief patroness. The Queen's Guide came to this country and went to Girl Guides. We wrote to them for the Queen's Guide to see the first lady. It was not possible. Okay. Maybe my letters don't reach them.
All right.
It could be.
So that is why we have you here sometimes.
Exactly, at least to clarify certain things.
I have tried my best.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Mrs.
Jubate, for
it's
coming.
Very good to have you here. And hopefully the Girl Guide will return to its former glory. We are looking forward to that because it's a very instrumental organization in the Gambia for the empowerment of girls. Thank you so much, Mrs. Jubate. So now we will take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we will head right on to social issues, where we will be talking about human trafficking. And we have Aisha in the studio, a victim of human trafficking, and she'll be here to share her story. Do stay tuned.
One nation, 8 tribes. We are the smiling coast of Africa. Gap-toothed, wide smile, rich melanin skin, radiant with the colors of a rich tapestry of cultures, telling one story of unity and beauty. Wrapped in the soft folds of a mother's sir, a Khalifa's Grambuba, we embody the past of our ancestors and the promise of our descendants. Follow the records of our history, this story that tells of a people watered by the river in the gleaming sun of a coastal nation. Listen to the folk tales, those old tales we grew up on. Lebon, Lupe, Amon Nafi, Danam. Hear the music of an entire nation in the language of its heart and mother tongue. Our tongues are heavy with the song of our people. Rich and thick it rolls off like domoda, soft like yasa, bena chinla, nyokomom. Feel the beat of our pounding feet as we dance to the sounds of a throbbing drum, ageless in its rhythm. The griot's kora that speaks the wisdom of the ages. The sweet sound of a mother's lullaby bringing even sweeter sleep. We clap a melody with young and old hands, a symphony full of the pleasures of life, the joys of work and home. We are Gambian. Bi suñu cosaan la, suñu dëkk, suñu bos.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning program. And right now, we are on our social issues segment. We'll be talking about human trafficking in the Gambia, and we're joined by Aisha Kamara. She's a human trafficking victim. And as you all know, Gambia is in the Tier 2 watch list, according to the Human Trafficking Report, which means that government of the Gambia does not fulfill all the requirements necessary in relation to fighting human trafficking, but at least they're trying. So that is what it means. So, and we're joined by Aisha Kamara to take us through her journey. We know you've spent a year plus in Kuwait, so you will take us through the journey and exactly how you're being trafficked. Who do you deal with? Who are the agents in the Gambia? Who do you connect with? To an extent that you're able to go there and get to suffer all of these violations. Ibrahim, you wanted to say something?
Yes, first of all, we'd like to thank Aisha Kamara for coming on this platform, at least to share
her story.
Yes, this emotional experience with us. So Aisha, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you. My name is Aisha Kamara, victim of human trafficking. Okay, I'm here today to share my story, what I experienced. So, in 2016, I was working at Canal Life Farm Bakery. So, it's a customer to me. She's a customer, Antifatu.
The person?
The person is Antifatu.
Okay.
It's my customer. So, suma customer daf dee ñëw foofu jëndam bu ma minante ak moom lool ma tros ko torop so ma benn bés mu ne ma ne Aisha dama gis ne you are hard working something like that but dama bëgg a waxtaan ak yow waaye xam nga yaa ngi liggéey doo mën a am chance right now pour waxaan ma ne ko ok fine mu ne ma naa la jox suma number bi soo wàccee rek you can contact me. I said okay, no problem. Then noonu leen ko defee moo wàcca contact ko mu direct ma fan la amee Serekunda fan la amee atelier foofu noonu so ma dem meet ko mu ne ma ne lu ma la bëgg a gis jaama la parce que dama la yéene jaama mu ne ko mu ne ma waaw mu ne ma ne suma doom bi right now lu may waxaa yow mu ngi foofu noonu si dëkki naari man sax foofu laa nekkoon parce que da la dee gëm loolu loo xamante ne amut pour ñu jël sa lifin bi mën a jël sa
am sa confidence
yeah exactly so mu waxee loolu ma ne ko ma ne ko ne andi Fatou ma lu ma di dégg mbaa loolu du the same thing nga ma ne mu ne ma non mu ne man Aïssa man yaayal comme dama la téye comme suma doom dama la dugal si loo xamante ne nga baaxul si yow lu gën si yow rek laa def mu ne ma right now suma doom mu foofu noonu lu may waxaa yow right now ma ne ko ok fine mu ne ma ne so mu ne ko léegi man lan laa nit pour def mu ne ma ne sa passeport laa soxla ak da nga war a fay $35,000 parce que lii soo demee dañ laa jox sa own accommodation nga nekk foofu noonu yaa ngi dem liggéey di ñëw restaurant man fa laa nekkoon suma doom right now mu ma yónnee xaalis sax pour ma build a house bi something like that.
Through liggéey Kuwait.
Through liggéey Kuwait bi. So mu ma jox lifin boo xamante ne mu ma encourage xam nga man tamit ku nekk bëgg naa tekki pour dimbale sa waajur dimbale sa boppa in future. So ma waxee loolu noonu ma ne ko mu ne ma waa ma ne ko ok. So ma xalaat ne man maa ngi liggéey suma salaire just $2,000. So mu ma wax ne soo demee ñu laa fay comme $300. loolu soo ko wécci in Gambia is a lot of money.
That's up to $15,000.
$15,000. So bu ma waxee loolu ma ne ko ma ne ko ok amu ban problème ma ne ko well awma xaalis $35,000 right now with me but dinaa try lu ma jot a am ma indi ko so si leen def suñu process bi noonu la dooree so ma génne suma passeport bi gars yi defar ñoo la dee defaral sa visa parce que waaye Anti Fatou moo agent la nekk te lii mooy nekk liggéeyam bi
pour mu recruter jigéen
waaw lii la dee def jigéen yi di leen nax di leen yóbbu ay dëkki naari different du Oman Kuwait lii moo nekk liggéeyam ne passionally waaye daf dee hide understand so moom la mu ne ma yéen ñaar sax yéen a war a dem waaw everything mu call mu ne ma ne benn bés mu ne ma ne sa visa bi jéem a waaye ñeen ñaar yéen a war a dem so Dakar ngeen through Dakar ngeen jël seen flight bi mu ne ko ok fine so ma pare that was on I think Thursday yeah si lañ jógee fii March 2016 so jógee fii nii dem Dakar ma fee ko suma xale ba fee ma ko yëpp mu ne ma ne soo demee ba nga egg nga liggéey then mun nga ma delloo suma balance ma ne ko amul benn problème loolu leen d'accord so we live Gambia to Dakar so Dakar si la mitante jaaxa boobu bi ñu doon dem Dakar so jaaxa bi tamit presently xaw ma ko much parce que suñu contact si mënuñoo amante contact bu demee waa any liggéey ok so bu demee foofu noonu ñu jël suñu flight bi ñu dem Addis Ababa Kuwait so jeex na ba lu gën a dawloo suma yaram bi nga xalaat ne yow nga ñëw dugga plane wàcca ñu laa dem wàcce foo xamante ne dalal la foo xamante ne néeg boo xamante ne fa dee sànni seen loo tëggu yaaxu yi nii ak table yaaxu ñu sànni ko foofu noonu muy amee dustbin so da nga gis naa di arab yi soo àggee foofu noonu we are different nationality Ghanaian Cameroonian dafa fa nekk dem dagee foofu noonu rek so ñu paak ñu si néeg boobu noonu so néeg boo xamante ne mu ngi tilim how many I don't know kañ na nit yi jógee dugga si néeg boobu noonu sax ñu ñëw jël doomi aadama ne dem teg leen foofu noonu
yow time boobu la sa xel start di tee
exact ma àggee si airport bi ma gis système boobu rek si la doog suma xel bi commencé yaa may am different mind
so yow boo àggee si airport bi dañ jël sa document si
dañ jël everything immigration bu ñoo ñëw pour waxaañoo dañoo muur seen bakken bi nañu ngee xeeñ
because you are black
yeah we are black so da nga ñu jël sa everything ñu nekk di laaxa seen la ñun xamuñ dara ñu paak ñu si néeg boobu noonu ñu foofu noonu soo xalaatee depuis ban time la egga Kuwait it was very late 3 o'clock si guddi waaw si suba den ñu nekk foofu lekkuñ naanu ñu toog foofu noonu ba gaay jullee fajar si la gaay again si ñoo jël si ñu so ñun ñuy paak foofu noonu amuñ ndox amuñ lekk
so amuleen access to communication
with anybody
internet xanaa seen téléphone yi dañ ko
suñ téléphone foofu noonu xam nga soo fi génnee rek yow sa network bi dafa dem ok so foofu noonu leen nekka gaay ñoo waxa ñun ñi muur seen bakkee ne bu ñu waxa ñun sax ñu mel ni ñun dañoo xeeñ understand nga so ñu pare ñu paak ñu ooñu tamit ñu dem paak ñu benn place woon jël suñu fingerprint jël suñu everything den da ngaa toog nii rek man suma egen moom lii la Indian la Mohammed la tudda so moom dafa ñëw rek Aisha Camara from Gambia I say yes mu waxa police yi jox leen xaalis ñu jël ñu hand over ko suma papers yi man koo gis suma passport everything yeah so then mu yóbbu ñu ñaar ni man naa beneen système bi so ñu demee si këram fu ñu tëddal sax kapet la nii boy kapet la ñu foofu leen nekka si dafa serious
so léegi li ma bëgg a xam mooy ndax Mohamed after that moom ndax mu ngi la doon fay $300 buñ la wax ak liggéey bi naka la meloon tamit
ok maa ngi ñëw bu ma àggee si foofu noonu si kër Mohamed si kapet leen fanaan tëdda pour relax foofu noonu maata yi everything ci suuf man a sista bi luñ sol depuis Gambia 2 days loolu moo nekk suñu yaram bi.
ana seen luggage bi.
ñu ngi ko amee. understand léegi dañ ko laaj jabaram bi dañ bëgg a sangu parce que xam nga depuis 2 days ñu ngi sol. sanguñ mu ne ma ne ok xaal leen ba boor set noonu bu fekk ngeen doog a mën a sangu. ma ne ko ok fine ñu leen tëddee lal suñu malaan yi tëdda ba naaj bi leer tuuti te ñu sangu jógee foofu dem si office bi moo amee yóbbu ñu dañ am own office. ñii dañ am own office ñuy communicate ak different country against yi leen di am
ñu leen di seen
ñoom antifaatu yëpp ñoom si against yooyu la nekka so dañoo wax gars yi ne comme dama bëgg a liggéeykat comme ñoom Mohamed ñoom seen office bi na arab yi ñoo dee ñëw si ñoom ñu leen dama bëgg a liggéeykat ñu charge la amount of xaalis
ñu jox la individual
understand ñu fay la suñ la fayee moom Mohamed tamit dafa communicate antifaatu in Gambia fii den moom tamit daf koo fay Mohamed dafa fay antifaatu understand yow sa bopp antifaatu lu mu la dee la ca tamit moom si poosam la dee
loolu xaalis boobu noonu si poosi
antifaatu la dee
mooy 35,000
bi
so different tam li nga xam ne soo àggee soo amee ku la jënda la comme ku la jënda jaay comme ku la jënda kooku noonu su fayee antifaatu daf si am percentage man my problem is ana antifaatu
mu ngi fii
mu ngi Gambia
mu ngi Gambia fi te maa ngi gisantaamu every time.
So yow did you report the issue to the authorities?
We report it of course.
Fatou moom mu ngi santa naka Fatou
Ndiaye
te nga ne dafa am atali
waaw
so moom
te xam dem naa ba sa këram kootu parce que moo ñëwee dama ko jaay gaaw dama ko call ma ne ko anti Fatou man de ñëw naa wax ma ko lu ma jafe-jafe yu ma dal Kuwait won ma ko loolu parce que génn ba affaire bi dafa dem loo xamante ne balaa ñu dem si loolu noonu sax bi nekkee Kuwait bu arab yi ñoo dañ la di jaay nga yaa ngi gis xaalis bi nga ko compté jox ko again bi lu daw yaram parce que doomi aadama fan leen la mën a jëndee fan leen la mën a jaay amul fenn ñu gis la ñu jaay la yaa ngi toog mu neex la mu naxare la lu la again bi dee wax yow yaa ngi dem liggéey kii moo la moom daf la jënda
léegi leneen man li ma bëgg a xam mooy léegi $300 bu mu la wax ndax weer bu dee bu nekk ñu ngi la ko daan fay
loolu amul fenn
fayuñ la ko soo ñaata lañ la daan fay
de ma doon fay 70 dinar soo ko wëccee Gambia fii nii xam te daf dee dem ay 6,000 5,000
dalasi soo léegi antifaatu ndax yow da nga engage dem nga native for instance
dem nañ native
engage after ñoom lan lañ leen wax
after day ma oo ñu ne ma ne am na benn intelligent officers I don't know benn bés day ma ko si call si weeru koor bu passé fii ñu ne ma ne waa ngeen follow sa case bi ñu waa antifaatu toog ne que antifaatu li moo nekk liggéeyam ñu sax xam ne loolu noonu
investigateur bi mu ne la
ñu xam ne loolu ñu ngi ko follow xam ne li moo nekk liggéeyam te still mu ngi pending te still mu ngi pending
the problem that we have in this country is dañoo gis affaire yi mu obvious suñ kanam ñu gis ko waaye ba léegi ku dem sa antifaatu mu ngi bribe ñooñu
léegi man li ma bëgg a wax mooy ba pare lu ma bëgg a wax tam mooy ne bu dee native ñu ngi seetaan te ñoom tamit moom mu ngi wax allégation boo xam ne has to do with native te native ñoo amee agency yéen tam soo leen bëggee ñëw leeralal mun ngeen naa ñëw si plateforme pour leeralal so because moom def na accusation bu rëy si native so it's open if you guys want to come and clear the air in relation to these things please come
waaw léegi nu mel nii comme kii report na gaay ba pare still now ñu ne case baa ngi pending so dafa mel ni allégation bi ñu bëri dañoo mun a xalaat dat antifaatu mu ngi bribe ñële so léegi bu nekkee mun nañu ñëw clear seen boppa nañu léegi continuer dañ bugg a xam
léegi am na yoo xam ne xëj na sax duñ am time bi pour nga explain everything in detail because due to time constraints waaye am na main things yoo xam ne xëj na ñun dinañ ko bugg a xam so léegi quickly rek wax ñu affaire yi ñëw bi naka nga def ba mun a ñëw because right now amuñ time bu bëri
waaw maybe I will be here in Friday 10 to 11
nga wax about it waaw soo wax ñu quickly naka nga jaaree ba ñëpp si
ok bu ma doon ñëpp si dama liggéey si kër boobu dama soona liggéey boo xam ne 24 hours suffering doo lekka doo na soo feebaree sax dangaa lekka dangaa liggéey 24 hours ñoom la ñoo ne ñu ne demal tëdde mun ngaa dem tëdde 2 minutes ñu call la wa ñu ne xale bi dafa kay génne diaper nga ñoo génnee ko understand nga so ma gis ne maa ngi sofa foofu ma feebar mu keewut ma daw so bu ma dawee si kër boobu noonu ma daw dem feneen si beneen side Kuwait so soo fa demee ñoom dañ di xam ne fii runaway ñoo fa dee nekk always boor boobu noonu da ngaa gis na comme boor boobu noonu tubaab bi ak foreigners yi ñoo fa bëri daal so da nga gis police dañ fay nekk di daw 24 hours suñ la gisee rek ñun suñ gisanta police dañ dee daw
so yow gisoon nga fa sa moromi Gambia
of course gis naa leen Gambia ni different national gis naa leen foofu noonu so ma benn bés ma feebar ma wàcc si guddi dama jënd garab parce que mun ma ko contrôle aw ma paper aw ma dara dañ dee nekk di dawalante police yi so ma ne dis balaa maa dee xaaral ma ne uti lu ma fajoo suma bopp so dama wàcca rek dem si pharmacie bi den ma jënd garab bu may ñëw may bugg a break taxi bi nekkate moto police bi de taxaw na gisuma ko te keroog mënu maa daw xam nga gars yi téye ma rek dugal ma si moto bi seetal lu ma jiinee suma kër suma jiin bi ak suma mbubu ak suma baag bi loolu rek laa amee suma everything man ko bàyyi suma néeg suma xaalis suma mobile suma everything suma yére so nu la dee téye si yoon bi noonu de laa yóbbu directly si police station bi police station ñu Gambia fi lan leen xam soo defee crime ne la dee teg prison da nga rey nit wala nga def crime waaye ñoom xamuñ loolu day am right seen dëkka kenn mun soo leen tooñee wala suñu la tooñee ñoo la am right seen sa kaw soo dañ la téye rek dañ ma téye rek yóbbu ma si police de si guddi boobu noonu dem tëj ma si prison man si prison 4 months
si biir
prison 4 months du ma dee mën a wax ak kenn ñu si suma everything suma mobile suma everything soo yére yu ma sol since min ma téye 4 months boobu laa amee suma moom laa nekkee si biir prison sanguma
doo mun a lekk waaye nag sufferwuloo any form of abuse tamit because
xam naa ne dañ dee def of course damaa nekk si prison parce que léegi-léeg prison bi daf dee fees waaye léegi-léeg prison bi daf dee empty man kenn maa fa dee nekk so da ngaa gis ne loolu noonu dama de lu bëri laa génn about so fa mu nekk ne time bi moo amul rek waaye soobee yàlla dinaa ñëw on Friday dinaa yaatal programme bi
léegi yow boo ñibbisee
naka ñibbisee exactly naka laa
dimbale ba nga ñëw
naka laa ñibbisee Gambia fii dama nekk si prison bi foo mun kenn du waxama ni call suma boss bi mu amee suma passeport bi pour mu indi suma passeport ñëw na ba foofu noonu man gis naa ko muy amee suma passeport mu dem si police yi mu ne lii nekkul passeport am passeport keneen la gars yi dem mu dem jéene sim card fi ñu ko koolee du leen dee faale comme duñ ko dee jot daal understand nga so man loolu laa fa nekkee benn bés benn Philippine moo dugga si moom doon dugga si président dafa noba mobile am bi si biir defe naa pant mu dugga si ak mobile bi mu dugga si mobile bi ñu ne mën na ko ne abal ma sa phone bi te si laa dem dugga ma saaj benn goxoon wala suma lefen la yàlla ma indi help boobu noonu rek mën a xaaral ma dugga Facebook saaj kooku noonu Aba Sanya gouverneur la xam ne suma customer la so ma saaj ko bu ma ko saajee rek ma gis ko ma ne ko ne man de maa ngi fii nii dama soxla sa dimbal ma ne ko man ñu ma téye fii nii 4 months man si prison bi so naka nga ma def pour suma tiise bi mun a génnee fii Saudi ñu indi ko fi parce que Kuwait amul embassy Gambia ma ne ko Saudi ñoo amee suma ñoo ma mën a defar tiisi pour ma ñibbi suma dëkk ma ne ko yow rek yaa ma mën a dimbale xaw ma naka nga maa mën a dimbale
yaa ngi si prison
maa si prison ma ne ko trial loo mun ta mel nga dimbale ma fu parce que moom mënumaa wax ak kenn loo mun a def rek pour dimbale ma mu ne ma ne Aïssa yaa ngi si prison foo ma mu ne ma ok ak ring of fan dama xaaral ma call mu ne ma jox ma sister bi WhatsApp number si laa ko forward WhatsApp number mu call ñooñu embassy bi communiquer ak gars yi xam nga naka la communiquer ak gars yi den mu jox leen sister bi bu ma amee téléphone Filipino bi number bi ñu jox ko den mu communiquer ma embassy si boppam communiquer ak ma mu ne ma ne sa paper bi dinañ ko indi dinañ ko send 3 days time kon aba moo tax man ma mun a génn si prison bi so ma génn si prison boobu noonu ñu yóbbaat ma fële si Salta bi so 2 weeks laa fa spend si Salta bi ñu mun a maa deport loolu sax dafa indi jafe-jafe parce que ku may fayal suma ticket bi ñoo Gambia fi dafa metti woon torop ba benn lawyer la foofu noonu Kuwaiti la moo ma fayal suma
kooku resident citizen Kuwait
Kuwaiti la
moo la fayal
waaw lawyer la moo ma fayal ñu ñaar la sax Gambia parce que ñu Gambia amul direct flight so dañu fayal fii ba Kuwait to Dakar so Dakar lañ jël suñu flight bi ñu waaj fa ak suñu yére bu ñu sol noonu la ñëwee ba Dakar.
ana sa baag
I lost everything.
yëpp mu fa
léegi li ma bëgg a xam mooy yow naka la meloon pour nga mun a intégrer taat si biir society bi because xam nañ Gambia nu mel ku fi dem back way wala ku fi dem Kuwait wala feneen gis nañ the discrimination texte ñu ngi la deport yaa ngi ñëw loxo neen so yow naka nga mun a delloowaat si society bi ba mun a ñëwaat the way you are today.
dafa métti woon trop parce que si société bi saf own family si boppam ñu la dee woon dem na ñëw na indi dara dem na ñëw na kooku lu moo daj foo yoo xamuloo ko lu tax mu ñëw xamuloo ko waaye dangaa dem nekk di dosa ñu laa joxeñ kii la woon dem na si dikk naa kii daf cagantu la dem something la and which is very wrong yoo xamuloo kooku lan la fa dem uti yoo xamuloo lan la fa nekk di daj nga ko point dinaa ne kii dafa dem si dikki naari dafa dem cagantu foofu so société bi fii nii dafa lu ñoo joojee it's very wrong antuma ñu jigéen ñi sa boppam ëpp doole bi jigéen ñi la den laa gis dañu commencé di wax seen wax yi suñu waa kii dem na ñëw na indi dara dafa dem cagantu foofu gis loo wit man believe ma loolu man lu ma believe dama gëm suma boppa ma xam ne bi natu la yàlla ma ko teg te am very strong
so right now lan nga nekk di liggéey
right now maa ngi jànga mason ki taf laa nekk dama bëgg a nekk architect so loolu laa nekk di jàng
loolu nga nekk di jàng yow soo yow tey soo mënoon a delloo time fast forward nga delloo ko fu mu nekkoon xam naa ne di nga ko mën a def because of coono bi nga daj te nekk na loo xam ne dafa métti te clair nga di in relation to fak ne taxawaalu tegu la fa liggéey moo la fa teg waaye tey yow soo doon wax ak sa morom yow lan nga koo wax
dama koy advice parce que lii nekkul ñun loolu moo tax loolu moo ñu tax a jóg moo tax ñu form organisation bi human trafficking pour ñu mun a save suñu sister si save suñu doom yi parce que lu ñu dal bëgguñ mu dal keneen lu ñoo am pour wax gars yi ne advice leen rek ku la ñëw mun a la ne dama am liggéey pour dem Kuwait o Dubai or whatever Libanon fu nekk daal woo ko ne lu tax moom yóbbul rakaam wala mbokkaam mi understand da nga war a think twice naka la moom la ñëwee mën na la kaay ma yóbbu la fii nii dama am liggéey fi am moom muy amee mbokk lu tax yóbbu ñoo suñu bàyyi seen xel bu baax kenn bu mu la na si jamono bi nekk nii moo tax ñuy wax fu nekk si radio si télé fu nekk si community sax dañuy dem
ba pare tamit quickly xam naa ne time jeex na ba pare bëgg naa xam li yaa ngi ma doon wax ne $2,000 nga doon am salary ndaw na torop mënuloo keep up so yow lan nga foog ne lañ mun a put in place pour ndaw yi ñu mun a dugg si dara su ko defee ñu independent mun a tekki si biir dëkk bi yow lan nga foog ne lañ war a put together
ok well fii nag suñu amee liggéey suñu amee ay compagnie fii nii Gambia dafa ne sa dëkk doo mun a ama fen foo dem sa dëkk moo ko gën a ne ne ubbi compagnie ndaw yi mën a liggéey fii nii ñu mën a def suñu dëkk fii nii waaye without liggéey without compagnie da nga am pour jiina loolu mu ñu dee jéeneloo si Gambie fii nga dem uti feena foo xam nga dem soonam foofu nga dem loolu sa bopp foofu noonu parce que amuñ fii liggéey understand nga so suñu si amee ay compagnie yoo xam ne ubbi nañ ko fii fu ñu dimbale ndaw yi dinañu jàppale torop waaw man loolu laa am
baax na jërëjëf Aisha Ibrahima this is it
it's emotional
very emotional
it's very sad that these things are still happening in this country ba pare da nga seet mu ngi si suñ xef yi ba léegi munuñ ci def dara ba pare nañ moytu because da ngaa gis ne globally at bu nekk 25 million people yi nga xam ne ñu ngi leen a traffic from one country to another métti na trop ndaw itam dañ war a bàyyi seen xel
and Gambia comme ni ma ko waxee woon ñun we are on the tier 2 watch list which means ne ñun nekkuñ to fulfill all the requirements in relation to human trafficking te she has made a serious allegation in relation to Natib. She just said that an investigator from Natib contacted her. She told her everything and the investigator ended up saying this is the job of Antifatu. So we're calling on Natib as well. If they want to clear the air in relation to this, the platform is open. What is Natib doing in relation to human trafficking to actually change the narrative? So Aisha Kamara will be the other guest on Sunyugale on Friday. So if you want to know more details in relation to human trafficking and what Aisha has gone through, please watch Sunyugale on Friday to know more.
Aisha dina nekk fi ajuma si Sunyugale programme pour setal yoonam bi depuis bu mu jógee Gambia dem be Kuwait ak coono yum fa daj be balaa moo dellu si dëkk bi fii.
All right. And I never knew this is a job to actually traffic people.
I'm telling you.
And the official will tell you this is the job of the individual. But anyway, like I said, it's left to them to come and clear the air. If they do not, then we might believe that that is the case. So now, thank you so much, Aisha Kamara, for coming and sharing your very personal story. So now we will take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we will head right on to the entertainment segment by Skengman Sweezy. Do stay tuned.
With Aji Bank, you can make your vehicle number plate payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Bursubi, Brikama, Base, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawol. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow. To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
One nation, 8 tribes. We are the smiling coast of Africa. Gap-toothed, wide smile, rich melanin skin, radiant with the colors of a rich tapestry of cultures, telling one story of unity and beauty. Wrapped in the soft folds of a mother's sir, a Khalifa's grandbuba, we embody the past of our ancestors and the promise of our descendants. Follow the records of our history, this story that tells of a people watered by the river in the gleaming sun of a coastal nation. Listen to the folk tales, those old tales we grew up on. Lebon, Lupain, Amon Nafi, Danam. Hear the music of an entire nation in the language of its heart and mother tongue. Our tongues are heavy with the song of our people. Rich and thick it rolls off like Domoda, soft like Yasa, Bena Chinla, Nyokomom. Feel the beat of our pounding feet as we dance to the sounds of a throbbing drum, ageless in its rhythm. The griot's kora that speaks the wisdom of the ages. The sweet sound of a mother's lullaby bringing even sweeter sleep. We clap a melody with young and old hands, a symphony full of the pleasures of life, the joys of work and home. We are Gambian. Bi suñu cosaan la, suñu dëkk, suñu bos.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break. That was Aisha Kamara talking about human trafficking in the Gambia. So now we will head right on to the entertainment update by Skengman Sweezy. Thank you so much for joining us. What is happening in the world of entertainment in the Gambia?
Man, I'm good. I'm blessed to be here today. It's another amazing day again. The weather is nice, and I had a great cup of tea this morning, though. Shout out to everybody watching me. I'm Skengman Sweezy.
It's another blessed day,
and
man.
This is the morning show, man. And
Why
this
man,
is the click segment. Where he's coming back, we're going to have him, obviously, man.
Okay.
I'm not going to say much. Let's watch this clip. When we come, we go deep into the interview, man. Yep.
Dama buga am lu ma comment.
Wow.
Skeng man daf ñu buga yap na. Artist ba ñu buga yap.
Wow, si ban boor.
Man dama doon expect woy. Deguma woy lu ma
now
why bit?
Look, just wait. We don't bring
what is this
on the platform.
Why bit bu neex bi? Why bit bi dafa neex de.
No, just wait.
Moo tax ma laajte ma ne Skeng man moo ñu buga yap.
Wala
boy bi moo ñu buga yap.
No. Unfortunately, we're not having an artist today. We are having a producer in the studio. We have a producer in the studio with us today. He's a beat maker and a producer. Seka, welcome to the show, man.
All right, thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah, tell us a bit about you, actually. What is Seka doing?
My name is Mohamed Seka, and known as Seka Beats. So I'm a producer at time. I'm a produce beats in hanga chocolate artists in. Yeah, that's what I do.
You've been working on a whole lot of projects.
Yeah.
You've worked with Chanta. You work some of the songs that he did in his album. You work with him as well. You work with Yapse. You work with other artists as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit, actually, working with Gambian artists. How is it like? Is it hectic or is it just simple?
It's not that hard. Like hanga simple. It's very hard because guy pull jot guy. So gise sa liggéey rek guy ndé ñëw ci yow ñu la yow bro xam nga naka la hanga kañ door affaire liggéey hanga ñu job ak yow, you know. So it's not that hard xam nga. Yeah. It's simple.
So you're not really a matured guy. You're just a kid, but you're trying to survive from the industry itself. You're trying to portray what you have. You're trying to sell out your talent out there.
Yeah.
I've seen you work on so many beats actually, and you're still working on other beats for other artists, both in and outside the Gambia as well. What really got you into production?
It's because my love for music. Yeah, my love for music. Like dama over like music since ma nekkee xale. And dama di déglu so many songs ak yooyu noonu. So mu nekk loo xamante ne dama ko bëgg a torop. So mu nekk loo xamante ne daal si man la nekk. So ma ne let me just start doing something loo xamante ne loolu daf ma neex daal Yeah, it's fun to me tamit dama ko dey enjoy tamit.
Yeah, so the picture slide that we play with the beats, you work on those beats.
Yeah.
Those beats are made by you.
Yeah.
And those are not Gambian instrumental beats. Those are grime and drill beats.
Yeah.
So how normally do you produce your beat? How do you work on them? Does it take weeks, days, or months?
No, it's maybe one day.
You work on a beat for a day?
Yeah, for a day. Like I'm gonna work on a beat maybe 4 beats for a day. Yeah, come the fact to see how much you concentrate see affair mbiri beats and how much you love it yeah, because man like always man neka si my laptop be always my neka di create beats and you all the time, so lolu mota is bena basic lam la dey jël. Yeah, for you.
Anyway, don't feel offended. Dama la door dala nonu. Why I like it. Xam nga bu affaire si play. Man, I was expecting
a music.
Yeah.
But you know what, this is not, we don't bring artists all the time on the platform.
Voice bi dafa chankon.
Voice dafa chang baña romba.
Wow, léegi as a producer, yaa leen dee tooga si waañ bi. Dañ bëggoon nga waxal ñu lan ngeen nekk di def pour change the way suñ bit suñ am fii léegi. Because dañ bëgg a gis every year things yi muy change, muy evolve. Xam nga live dafa waaw exactly. So dañ bëggoon yow lan nga am ban idea nga am pour changeal ñu loolu.
Idea mo si am mo nekk le xam nga sooy create bit. Okay, comme Gambia fii bëgg naa suma bit yi ma si dugal i tama. Anasanga i tama i xam nga ñoom jéembe ak yooyu at least mu xam nga ñu xam ne lii is from Gambia. Anasanga so most of the time comme noonu la def pour di xam ne tamit xam nga lii Gambia la nekk xam nga lii si Gambia la jógee. Yeah, so loolu moo tax ma dee.
So yow lan moo tax nga different from other producers because man gis naa yeneen producers yi ñu use tama ak yi ngay wax ni. si seen comme sometimes daf they am something natural.
Yeah, natural in it, like the kora sort of.
Exactly.
Because Gambia we known for kora actually.
Exactly. So yow tey man su ma doon artist yow nga taxaw beneen producer taxaw. Lan moo war a tax man ma jël la yow.
La moo war a tax nga jël ma.
Waaw, instead of the next person.
It's because hanga ku nekk da nga am sa style.
Waaw.
Yeah, man dama am suma own style ba soo diggee suma beat da nga xam ne okay this is Seka beats.
Okay.
Hanga lii keneen ak keneen.
Waaye Seka beats yow foo touch man maa ngi laa soog a dégg.
I'm going to throw the question back at him. Now he works like how was it like working with Chanta on his album? Because he produced some of the beats for Chanta.
Yeah, okay. Chana, yeah. Chana. It wasn't that hard, nak. Yeah, because hanga mom suma wala tam manam dañ xamante bala xam nga mbiri music ni ak xam nga production ni. Yeah, mom suma wala dañ dee linkante ni rek waaye malls xam nga malls.
Yeah, malls tamit.
Yeah, malls moma dugalal link boo xamante ne mana Chanta xam nga and man foog mo understand that channel dafa use ma beat ak yooyu noonu understand nga because man time boobu maa ngi foogoon ne xam nga ba léegi maa ngi nekk
amateur.
yeah understand nga so after ma send ko suma beat and ma appreciate ko trop mu ne ma yo bro boy liggéey dama si flow ak yooyu ma ne ko alright cool and mo ne ko the first artist tam kunyo
first popular artist actually.
Yeah, popular artist.
Yeah, because he did the 1 minute again with your beat.
Yeah.
The 1 minute freestyle.
Yeah.
So he's been doing this.
So this guy is been... No, the reason...
Wow.
The reason next big producer in this country.
No, the reason why I had to bring him on the show is because we've seen likes like Shy Boy, Stylish, Nova and others that were doing the thing. But he's one of the youngest producers I could say that I know. He's been doing this thing for a while.
But Buba, the big question is, we've seen that a lot of artists go to Senegal, go to other countries to get things
beats,
that they can get beats.
In the Gambia.
So what is the problem? Is it because we don't have proper instruments, or is it because there's not something special that we are doing to the extent that they have to fly to other countries to actually put their music out there? What's the problem?
No, it's because hanga Gambia like nobody gumun send bopa da.
Okay.
Exactly.
Benen deka lu gaay de defar like mom la gaay de gëna appreciate dan Gambia te Gambia mi ngi def the same thing de but dafa nekk lo xamne gaay de appreciate xam nga benen deka lu mo def dan us and ñu ñep ñi ngi def the same man producers like ñoo xamantene xamna ne ñi ngi over def good like J Life Uche ñi ngi over def xam nga lo xamantene tam it's very
like me in my opinion I believed we don't believe in what we have because if you see Senegalese are doing good in the industry and trying to penetrate outside industries because they believe in what they have. They believe in their producers, in their video directors, in their promoters, and in the musician themselves. So I believe if we believe in our musician and in our entertainment industry, we're gonna get there. Obviously, it's just a matter of time.
But we can just wrap up.
Him.
He's
young and he's starting. So keep it up. Move on,
Inshallah.
Yeah. So your final words to the fans out there.
Hanga ñep may na hanga ngay nañ ma watch out tamit hanga because may wara work on see you bari dal hanga yeah so nañ ma watch out and ma may watam thank you tam hanga si kepo ko xamne ngay setan show bi and everything hanga thank you hanga
and
watch out Gambia watch out
I take it back touch nga palace
before I take a leave of you shout out to my designer OT design he got me looking drip today man man's looking different man and you can call him on 308 0120. He's a Bambo Janjang. You can call him. You can get something like this or something better than this.
All right.
Thank you, OT. Man's proud, man. You made me look different today.
All right. I love it. And the colors too. So mine is provided by Business Outfit of the Day. So the top is provided by her. I love it so much, you know. I love African print balde. And you did not even tell me I'm looking good. Why is that?
It's beautiful.
And the number is 3834020. 3834020, and you will get an outfit as nice as this or even better, as you can see.
Mine is done by Mariama Sise and Kuje.
And I love it.
Kuje, you look good.
Mariama Sise and Kuje.
Shout out to them.
If you want to Kuje is now a designer.
Call Kuje.
I never knew Kuje is a designer.
All right, viewers, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTVs this morning. Don't forget that we're expecting sponsors, Balde. We're expecting sponsors on this table. Ñun du leka du dara ñun bañu dara. Ñun leka bi sa dañ sey bek ñun. Su ko defee ñu toog fi di
Gambia lala.
Wow, ñëw leen. Just call our marketing team, speak with them. It's not very expensive and get to come and join this particular program. So till we come your way tomorrow, bye for now.